Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, GWT family. My name is Sean Singh, Ambassador with Global Wealth Trade. It's my absolute pleasure to be your host here tonight on what's going to be an absolutely fantastic webinar. You can see the slide has just shown up here. I know for myself personally, you know what we're about to see tonight has had a huge impact on my business, has had a huge impact on my home markets here as well in Ottawa and Montreal, and it's something that we're implementing on a almost daily but definitely a weekly basis now, what you folks are about to see. Now, of course, taking us through our tax saving strategy today is none other than the gentleman who's really brought it to the forefront for the GWT world. This young man, Rene Liaw, he is one of our millionaires in the company. He's one of our national ambassadors as well. I'm sure you guys have seen he's on his second luxury vehicle at this point already. And if you haven't, get onto Facebook, see those pictures, see those videos. And you know what, on top of that fact, ladies and gentlemen, for the folks that spend some time with him in Toronto or, all the different markets he visits, you get an idea how unbelievable this tax saving strategy he shares with everybody is used not only to intrigue people to come and see the opportunity, but actually, you know what, it's actually a hammer point for them to launch their e-malls as well. So without further ado, we'll do a quick sound check here. Do we have our national ambassador, youngest millionaire of the company, President's Cup Award winner, Mr. Rene Liaw on the call?
Yes. Hello, Sean. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear, my friend.
Okay, well, again, thank you so much, Sean. Always love, man. Your voice just projects energy like none other. So thank you so much for an amazing introduction. And again, a very, very good morning or good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are in the world. I'm really excited to be here today to share with you guys, this incredible training I put together here. And, but first and foremost, wanted to wish everyone, if you are in Canada, that you're having a great long weekend. I know that you could probably be I'm not sitting back, relaxing, having a few beers, but, you're here with me tonight. And I hope you are enjoying a long weekend. And what I'm going to share with you tonight is going to allow you to treat every single weekend like a long weekend going forward. Because this is something that I've actually been doing personally since over 9 years ago. From the very first time I got started into GWT was mostly because of, in fact, the tax savings. Now, again, this is supposed to be the North American call, and that being such that, this actual training today really sort of applies to the North American markets, Canada, USA. However, there are similar tax saving benefits in other countries such as Australia. Pretty much every country in the world does have a tax saving, benefit when you do run your own home-based business. Okay, so but again, it varies country to country. However, again, this call is mainly sort of focused on the countries that are in Canada, USA. I believe even the UK can take the same kind of advantage of this call. And you know what? If you are in a different country, you know what? There are again different benefits that can apply to you, and you can probably use a lot of the things I'm sharing tonight even in your own markets. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into this and talk about the tax saving strategy here. So really quickly, you'll notice that in all of my, if you have been on my weekly tax sort of strategy saving webinars, whether it's live in person or in live broadcast, I always do mention the tax disclaimer. And it's really important because, again, if you are not an accountant, so what this really says here is that, myself, I am not a trained accountant. I'm not some kind of financial advisor or tax advisor. I am just someone that knows a lot about tax strategies because I've been applying it in my own business for many, many years now, over like 12, 13 years now. Okay, so I want to make sure that everyone's very clear about that. However, I do have, we the company itself and us, the leaders, we do have amazing, qualified tax advisors, CPAs, accountants who actually will do the taxes for you. But again, my role tonight is to share with you the strategies I put together in leveraging the tax benefits that exist. Okay, so so really quickly, a bit of an introduction into the tax saving strategy is number one, you don't need to be an expert to share tax savings. Okay, and that's one of the biggest things that I got caught up before was I knew a lot about this, but I was a bit timid to share about it. And I realized, you know what? You don't have to be an expert to be able to talk about tax savings, right? Because again, what's really important is that you will always have that tax disclaimer at the front of all of your presentations or when you're talking about the taxes, but also, in our PowerPoint and even on the worksheet that I'm going to be showing you guys in a quick second, even the worksheet even has the entire tax disclaimer. So again, you don't have to be an expert to share tax savings because we always have that tax disclaimer just to back you up as well, okay? So in terms of how do you present the tax savings, I want to break it down real short and simple. There's sort of two main ways you can present the tax savings. Number one is you can invite people to the live meeting that we have, of course, in Toronto, or if you're not in Toronto, we have a live webinar. So we actually broadcast the live meeting via a live webinar. That's one way of actually inviting people to learn about the tax savings for themselves. And the second way is DIY, do it yourself. And there's a real simple way. And the whole point of this short call tonight is I want to empower everyone on the call to be able to, when the call arises, to be able to do it yourself instead of waiting for the next schedule, or the next local meeting. I want you to be empowered to be able to do this yourself, okay? And you can do that by basically playing the recorded webinar that we already have online and using the worksheet. Or if you even want to make it even shorter, so the recorded webinar, again, is, I'm going to show you where that webinar is in a quick second, but it's like an hour-long webinar with myself, and I go over the worksheet, right? That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is you can play a really quick 8-minute video by North America's by far #1 tax trainer. He actually wrote a book called Sandy Bawkins. And you can play that video. I'm going to show you where that video is. You can play that video and then as well use a worksheet. So again, either way works. They're both good stuff to do here because the most important thing is really going to be step 3. And step 3 is if any question comes up and you don't know how to answer that question, again, that's why every single person in this company, I love this system. We have a My5, a 3-way phone call with your My5. You want to make sure that, in the event that you don't know the answer to any questions, please don't make up the answer. Okay, that's not a good way to do that. Do not make up the answer. The best thing you can do is to schedule a 3-way phone call or call your My5 right away. Okay, let me break down step 1 and 2 a little bit more for you guys. So if you were to choose a live meeting or the live webinar, again, for those of you who are in the nearby area, again, there's live tax seminars being held now in Toronto. There's ones being held in, I believe in Brampton. I know that Niagara Falls has them every Tuesday. I know that Edmonton and Calgary is doing it as well too. And there's so many different places that are actually sort of simulating this strategy because it's so effective. Now, again, every Monday at 7:30 p.m., we actually do have the live meeting in our Markham location at 25 Valleywood Drive. But again, if you can't make it live to any of the meetings, don't worry about it because we actually have a webinar link live stream. So we actually have it done live via webinar. And that you can find in your back office calendar, okay, for the Monday, 7:30 p.m. It'll show you a link to hop on the webinar for live, okay? So you're already covered in that sense. If you were to do it yourself, again, you can play the recorded webinar and go through the worksheet. So the recorded webinar right now is actually stored on our Millions in Motion website. It's called ourgwt.com. On that website, on the left-hand banner, is a giant list of trainings of all the top leaders alphabetically sorted. And if you go to T for Tax Savings Strategy, okay, you're going to see that link. You click that link, and basically you're going to see the recorded webinar. And just to show you guys what it looks like exactly, so we go to our GWT, and again, we're going to scroll down to the left-hand side where it says Tax Savings Strategy. Okay, so again, if you haven't been here before, I'm glad you're on this call because I pretty much put together a lot of the amazing trainings from the top leaders in the company and sorted it alphabetically. Attitude training, boot camp, closing, compensation plans, etc., etc. And under T, you have one for tax savings strategy. Okay, and in here, again, just to show you guys the videos so you know where to find the videos. We do have 5 videos. I want to really quickly explain to you what each of these videos are. The first video is actually a link to Sandy Bawkins' 8-minute sort of video, promo video really, that talks about why having a home-based business is important and why you have to be brain dead not to have a home-based business. This is the 8-minute video that you can use to share with people, okay, when you're doing it by yourself. The second video, again, is actually a long time ago, we invited Sandy Botkins to do a special training just for our company, and that's the second video, okay? The third video is a gentleman named Mr. Robert Watterson, who is very, very well known, of course, in our company for doing many people's taxes. And so he actually did a training as well, too. And the fourth video is mine. This fourth video is actually myself doing the entire tax saving strategy that we do every single Monday night. I actually recorded one of the sessions and put it here right there for you. Okay, so again, referring back to doing it yourself, you can play the recorded webinar, which is basically the fourth video. Okay, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth video is a recorded webinar of what we do every single Monday night. Okay. And once you play back the recorded webinar, make sure that in the process, you also do the worksheet. So for those of you who are wondering, what is this worksheet? Okay, let me show you really quickly. What we always do in our tax meetings is we actually go through this little sort of spreadsheet here. And it's very cool because what it does is it actually has a person calculate how much money they could be saving by having a home-based business. Now, I'm not sure why it's not opening up. Just give me a second here while I figure out why it's not opening up. One quick second. Oh, that's why my Excel. There we go. One quick second here. And we're back. Okay, so again, this is what I basically used to do, and I still do in every one of the meetings that I have when I'm talking to somebody, okay? Because the whole strategy here is, again, if you don't understand sort of why we're doing this, again, that's why you want to be on the Monday Night Tax Savings webinars. Tonight, I'm not going to do that training because we do it every Monday night. Tonight's training is more focused on the strategy behind why we do this, okay? And so, again, the key thing here to understand is everyone has these kinds of expenses: cell phone, internet, car, transit, meals, entertainment, office, accounting fee, traveling, promotions, rent, home, and a business, and a car. And so the whole key here is to calculate and show the person that if they were to have a business and invest 3,599 for the business, okay, follow with me here. The whole strategy is to show someone that just by having a business for 3,599, what's going to happen is their tax savings, what they're going to be saving or getting back in taxes, is about $9,500 based upon this gentleman's expenses. So again, to summarize, the strategy of people filling out this worksheet is for them to calculate that if they got started in GWT with a $3,599 startup cost, that what they'd be getting back next year in tax savings is over $9,500. So really, just by getting into the business, what they're actually gaining here is almost $6,000. Right? So that's the whole strategy of this sheet, is to, again, and if you're doing this worksheet, always make sure that the person, your prospect, that they do the worksheet themselves. Don't put in random numbers. It's more effective if you have the prospect that you're talking to use their own numbers, because it's going to be their tax savings, not mine, not yours. So I always make sure that people, again, use their own numbers in this tax sheet. And yes, you heard me right. Every single person I talk to, every single prospect that I talk to, I have them go through this. And that's how I was so effective at closing. And a long time ago, people give me nicknames for, like really good closing kind of nicknames. But all I really did was show people that by investing $3,599 for the business, they could get a return of $9,500. So why wouldn't you do it? Okay, so again, back to our training. The whole point here is when you play the recorded webinar, during that recorded webinar, I'm also going through this worksheet in that webinar. So while you're playing back the webinar, what you can do is you can pause the webinar while I'm doing it, or play at the same time, and make sure you print out a copy of this, okay, and have your prospect fill it out while you and him are watching, or her are watching a live webinar together. So again, step by step, you go to the website, the fourth video, you press play. That's me doing the tax saving strategy, or you join the live webinar. At the same time, if you're at home, at the very bottom, you see this tax benefits fill in the blank. This is the link to the actual spreadsheet. Okay, so you want to click on this link here, the tax benefits fill in the blank. Okay, and that's going to be a link to this spreadsheet that is empty. There's no number. It's like a blank copy. Okay, and it's very important that while you and your prospect are going through the recorded webinar, you use that worksheet. Okay, so that's where it is. But again, if time was tight, he didn't have that much time. Another really sort of simple way of doing it as well too is you use the Sandy Botkin's 8-minute video. So a lot of times, if I'm sort of meeting someone that really has to go and they don't have an hour with me, what I would do is I go back onto the website, I play the first video, which is the Sandy Botkin's 8-minute video. I urge you guys that when this call is done, don't do it now. When the call is done, to go and play this video. In fact, if you even just posted this video on your Facebook, what's going to happen is another little quick tip. It's a free tip really for tonight. You post this video onto your Facebook, and everyone that likes the video is someone who is telling you, I am interested in tax savings. And what you want to do is add those people to your list, give them a call, and again, continue building like a trust with those people, okay? So that's a little quick free tip there. If you want to generate leads, just post a link to this video onto your Facebook, and people will like and they'll comment on it, right? And when you do post this link onto your website, don't just share the link, because it's more effective if you write something such as, oh my goodness, I just learned how to save $9,000 in taxes. And then you post it. And it's even more effective if you have a call to action. So if you post a link to this video on your Facebook and you say, oh my goodness, I just found out how to save $9,000 in my own taxes, ask me how, that is a call to action. So there's a really nice free tip for you guys, how to generate leads right away based on this tax saving strategy. But again, going back to the training, the other way of doing it by yourself is you play the 8-minute Sandy Botkin's video. After the video is done, again, you go over the worksheet, okay? You go over the worksheet with your prospect together, okay? And that's how you can do it yourself, okay? So I've covered for you how to bring someone to a live meeting or the live webinar, or if those times don't work for you, how to do it yourself with a recorded webinar or using Sandy Botkin's video. Okay, I hope everyone's clear so far. Let's move right into the more fun stuff. Oh, again, don't forget to have that 3-way phone call in case you cannot answer any question. Again, don't make it up. Please make sure you call your My5, okay? So we've already gone through the worksheet example, okay? Now, the really cool thing about tax strategies is people don't realize how many different areas of your business this can become so effective and beneficial for your business. One of the areas you can implement the strategy of tax savings is in your approach, when you approach people. So sometimes I don't even mention anything about fashion. I don't mention anything about, products. I don't mention anything about a business. Sometimes my approach, after building like and trust with someone, if I gauge or I get a feeling that, the best approach is in taxes, I might even approach someone in terms of the tax approach. So I might say, hey, out of curiosity, in your job, do you pay a lot in taxes? Oh yeah, I pay. I pay a lot in taxes. Oh man, like do you wish you could pay less tax? Yeah, I would love to, pay less tax. Well, can I share with you an incredible way to save on your taxes? Yeah, why not? Right? So you can use it in your approach, okay? Another effective area where you can implement the tax saving strategy into your business is in your call to action for your new LCs. So a lot of you people out there have a lot of new LCs launching their emails, right? And I'm going to teach you guys a really effective way to get your brand new LC, to hit the ground running. So there's no more delay, because the sooner you can get your brand new LC to, either sell products or so order products and sell products, or the sooner you can have them invite people to learn about tax savings or the business, the faster your business will move, right? So the speed of the pack is speed of the leader, right? So another area you can implement the tax saving strategy is in your closing. So this by far for me is something that I do all the time. And I'm going to teach you guys exactly what I do in the closings and how I leverage the tax savings to get that almost 100% closing ratio every single time, okay? The fourth area that we can tie in the tax saving strategy is in your own retention. So to create more retention. So sometimes, some people get in and they have buyer's remorse. They go home, talk to negative Nancy or negative, I don't know, Nick, right? And could be their spouses, could be their parents or the siblings or whatever, the children. And I'm going to teach you guys a way to leverage this tax saving strategy to create amazing retention. I'm talking about to putting into a system where you can almost have close to 100% retention ratio using this strategy. Yes, you heard me right, 100% retention ratio using this strategy, okay? So let's talk about the first area, which is the tax savings related to your approach. And again, it can be implemented into your approach in many ways. And here's the whole psychology why. After having been in network marketing now for almost 13 years, again, GWT 9 years, full-time for almost 7.5 years, I've realized that some people have a fear on talking to other people, especially if it's in regards to inviting someone to see a business or inviting someone to, come out to attend a meeting. Some people might have that fear. So if you have a brand new LC, and even if you've gone through the like and trust training, they've done the tripod of belief training, they have really good belief in themselves, the company, and the industry, and they've done training on approaches. Sometimes, even though someone's gone through all those trainings, a very few sort of select amount of people might still have this issue because, again, maybe they have this fear that they're trying to sell something to their friends. Again, in all of our trainings, we educate people that you're not selling, that you're sharing. However, back to the training, one really cool thing that happens is people don't have any fear when it comes to helping others. So a lot of people, sometimes won't even, human beings want to help others. That's just the nature of human beings. And it's funny because some people, they might not even want to lend money to their friends, or they might not want to give money to, like a beggar on the street. But if it's like a natural disaster and there's like a hurricane or like an earthquake, all of a sudden they're donating all this money. So my point is that people actually want to help other people. So one way to implement the tax savings into the approach, okay, is to teach people to say something very simple. And what I tell people to say is, look, you can say, again, think of two people that you really love and care about. So again, this is me talking to the brand new LC, right? I'm teaching them what to say, and they can just say, I just found a way to save, dollar amount on my taxes. And again, this dollar amount that's blank here, you would have helped your prospect figure out that amount going to the tax spreadsheet, right? So again, in terms of the approach, if you've done this tax spreadsheet, you know for yourself how much you have already saved in taxes. So if this was your spreadsheet, you know that your tax savings was $9,500. So what you could say in your own approach when you want to talk to other people is you could say, I just found a way to save $9,500 on my taxes. You got to learn and come and learn for yourself how to save thousands on your own taxes. Are you free next Monday evening, 7 p.m.? So here's an example that you can use taxes in your own approach by inviting them to a meeting by saying, I just found a way to save, $9,500 on my taxes. You got to come and learn for yourself how to save thousands on your taxes. Are you free next Monday evening at 7 p.m.? So again, that's a really simple way to approach. And I found that when teaching a lot of the new LCs to use this angle for their approaches, that they do it a lot more than some other approaches, perhaps because they realize they're actually helping their people. Because in reality, just by sharing this strategy with other people, you're helping them save on their taxes. So that's one way to invite someone to come to a meeting. Another way to invite someone to go on the webinar is very similar. You could say, I just found a way to save $9,500 on my taxes. You got to come and learn for yourself how to save thousands on your taxes. Are you free next Monday evening, 7 p.m. to come meet up and watch this webinar together? So my point is, you can even invite someone to come to your place or go to their place and watch the live webinar together, right? And again, most people, when you approach them, if your approach is to tell them how to save on their taxes, most people are very open-minded to learning how, right? So again, just make sure that you build like and trust as usual, as per all of our trainings, and use this as the approach, okay? Another cool way to invite someone to do it yourself. So again, the previous one was inviting someone to watch the webinar together. Here's an approach on how to do it yourself. You can say, I just found a way to save $9,500 on my taxes. You got to come over and let me show you how. Are you free tomorrow night to come on over? We can get a coffee, and I'm going to show you how to save thousands on your taxes. Yeah, bro, I'll be right over there, right? So again, I'm just showing you the different ways you can invite someone to be on the live meeting or the live webinar or doing it yourself. And I've already told you what to do in each of those different scenarios, right? So that's how simple this can be, okay? So and one thing that I was sort of talking about briefly before is how to create a call to action for all of your new LCs. So again, if you have 10 LCs in your team, or even 30, or even like a few thousand, think about if every one of your LCs were to jump and take action right away. Can you imagine how rapidly your business would build, right? And so for your brand new LCs or even the older LCs, here's what I do. Every single time I see someone, I ask them, hey, how's it going? How's your approach going? Have you been talking to a few people? Yeah, kind of. Well, I try to talk to two people. Whatever they say, I ask them, can you take out your phone right now and find me two names of the people you care for and love the most? And here's what I want you to say. Again, and what they're saying is the scripts that I just showed you. So I'm asking the person right there to find me on the spot, and you can turn this into a calling party where you have, maybe even if you have live weekly meetings, after the meeting is done, around 8:30, have all of the LCs open their phones and find two names of people they care about and that they want to help save on their taxes. Because my point is, if you found a way to save $9,500 on your taxes, why wouldn't you tell someone else? So let's call those people you care about and love the most, and let's help them save on their taxes. And all you have to do is call them and use the scripts and invite them to come to a live webinar, a live meeting, to watch a recorded webinar, or again, or do it yourself, right? So my point is, it's that simple. And so believe me, if all of you guys all over Canada, USA, and different countries, if you just started at every single time you saw an LC in your team, ask them on the spot, and you're watching them do this, find two names on your phone. I want you to call them right now. Because if you really care about them, you want to help them save on their taxes, you're not going to wait to do this. You're going to call them right now. And here's what you're going to say, that you found a way to save $9,500 on your taxes, and you really want them to learn how they can do it for themselves, right? And have them book that meeting on the spot. And so I've had a lot of great success. I've had people, I've tested it out, and people literally, on the spot, start inviting, their parents. And I give examples, right? I mean, if you found a way to save $9,500, why wouldn't you be calling your most loved ones anyways? Your parents, your siblings, your children, your spouse. They're the ones that should be hearing about it first from you, right? And so again, I think I've gone enough about this. Again, call to action. If you make every single person in your team do this, your business will become booming, okay? So now let's talk about closing conversations and how I leverage the tax saving strategy in closing. This becomes a lot of fun for me, okay? So get ready. Okay. So again, after the whole entire thing is done, so again, this is in closing, right? So this is after they've watched the information, you've done the tax worksheet together. Here's what you want to say here's some examples of what you can say. You can ask a person, hey, Mr. Prospect, Mrs. Prospect, can I ask you a question? If you found a $20 bill on the floor and no one was around you, would you pick it up? And they always say, yeah, of course, man. Like, definitely, I'd pick up that $20 bill on the spot right away. I say, yeah. So I say, well, yeah, you pick it up. I mean, it makes no sense to leave money on the floor, right? And they're like, yeah, it makes no sense to leave money on the floor. I say, okay, because, and listen carefully, I say, because if you left here tonight without starting your business, your home-based business, then every single day from here on after, you are leaving money on the floor, because every single meal that you have, every time you drive your car, that you rent your house or you live in your house, all your home expenses, office expenses, every time you use your cell phone or your internet, you're not writing off those expenses, and you're literally leaving money on the floor. But again, you wouldn't do that. So let's get you started right away. Okay, so hope you guys caught all that. I asked the person again, if you found a $20 bill on the floor, you can even say $100, whatever, and no one was around you, would you pick it up? And they always say, yeah, of course I would. I say, great. So again, if you were to leave here tonight without having a home-based business, you are just leaving money on the floor. In fact, you're just giving money to the government. So let's get you started tonight and get you saving on your taxes. And you slide the application form in front of them, have them fill it out, or you punch them in onto your iPad, laptop right away. Okay, so that's one way to close a conversation. And the one thing I like to do as well is I like to, when sometimes people who realize that they have a refund coming back of $9,500, most people get it right away and boom, they're in. Some people, I don't know, sometimes maybe they don't associate that money to something like tangible. So what I like to do to people to, again, and the whole psychology is this, is that people usually, do things because of fear or because of pleasure. So people that are usually procrastinating, or people who are really usually, not very decisive in some ways, what can push them to become decisive and stop procrastinating is, a fear of loss, or pleasure, right? So I ask people, what would you do with a tax refund of, in this case, $5,000 or $9,500? And I let the person think about that. So I literally ask the person, well, what would you do now with a refund of $9,500? And when you do that, and you let your person think about, upon getting the money back, what could I do? I could go to Hawaii. I could take my wife to that dream vacation she's always wanted. I could bring my husband to that getaway he's always been wanting, Bora Bora. Or maybe there's a renovation, or you want to buy something that's really spectacular, or you want to pay off some debt, right? The key point here, folks, is to make sure that you give your prospect a chance to associate that money, that refund, or that tax savings with something that they would do with it. They might save it, they might invest it. But again, by doing this, most people who realize that, if I invest $3,500, I get back $9,500, I'm actually up $6,000. I can now pay for an amazing vacation to Hawaii, or a nice family vacation to Mexico. And once you do that, again, what's going to happen here is that your person is relating that money to natural experience. And what's going to happen here is that it's going to give them that pleasure to get started and to stop procrastinating, or the fear of loss. So they have a fear of losing that vacation with their family. And again, it's going to have them stop procrastinating and become decisive and get started right away. Okay, so and one thing that I say a lot for people who tend to be, really any age, but I find that for people who are a little bit more elderly, that this really hits hard for them, is I ask them, imagine if you saved $5,000 over the next 10 years, or over the past 10 years, that would have been $50,000. I mean, imagine. So people who are sitting in the tax training, when I ask this question, imagine over the past 10 years, had you saved $5,000, you would have right now in your bank account an additional $50,000. So don't wait any longer. Let's get you started. And boom, I mean, that is how you, again, it's all about just having people realize, an emotional point of view, what there is at stake here, right? So again, I ask people, so imagine over the next 10 years, how much you can save for your retirement. So I like to tie this into how it can help someone for their retirement. Okay, so you know, this is how it's so powerful about how this works. Okay, so moving along here, um, again, one other thing I like to do in terms of, sometimes to close a prospect, what I find that's kind of cool is if you can help your prospect see themselves doing the business, then if they can see themselves doing the business, typically they're going to launch. The only time someone does not launch their business is it doesn't matter how good it is if they don't see themselves doing it. So my psychology here is I asked them, if you found a way to save $3,000 to $10,000 in taxes, would you not be doing a favor by sharing this with your most loved ones, your friends and family? And now they're thinking, oh, actually, yeah, I mean, I should be sharing this. I mean, for all of you on the call tonight, every single one on the call tonight, if you found a way to save 3 grand to 10 grand plus in taxes, and you haven't shared this with your most loved ones, like your spouses or your parents or your children or your closest friends, like why the heck not have you not shared this yet? Because because you're doing them a favor, you're helping them save on their taxes. So why haven't you shared this yet? Imagine if your best friend or your family member, your cousin perhaps, found a way to invest $3,500, get back $9,500, and they did not share that with you. And you're close. You're close. How would you feel? You'd be like, "What's wrong with you, man? Why don't you tell me this last year?" Right? So again, my psychology here is to have the prospect see themselves that, yeah, I should be sharing this. Then I ask them, well, what if you can earn a lifelong residual income just by sharing what you learned tonight? What if you could earn a lifelong residual passive income just by sharing what you learned tonight? Would that be of interest to you? And like, yeah, well, why not? I mean, if all I'm doing is helping people save on taxes and everyone's winning, no one can lose their money at all. No one can lose their money. I'm only helping other people. And just by doing that, I can earn a lifelong passive income. Yeah, hey, sign me up. You know what I mean? That just makes sense, right? So moving on here, another 3 really cool questions that I like to ask. Again, I'm just giving you as many different things here. And sometimes, I use combinations of these things. So I see a question that just came on board that said, what if you ask this question, the $20 bill on the floor, and that person says, yeah, that they would not pick it up. That's a question that just came in. If someone told me they would not pick up $20 bill on the floor and there's no one around them, I would say to them, are you insane? Like, are you a multimillionaire? Even multimillionaires pick up $20 on the bill on the floor, right? So if someone was to answer no, I'd be like, are you insane? Are you nuts? And again, if this is not the closing conversation for them, again, I've just taught you so many different things you can say. But let's get going here, okay? Another 3 questions that you can ask to someone if they're still sort of on the fence, they haven't decided yet, is you ask them 3 questions. And this is what I call to action questions. You can ask them, number 1, can you see how this can save you on taxes? And the answer is yes. There's no. The answer has to be yes, right? Then you ask question number 2, which is, are you interested in saving on your taxes? And the answer is yes. Okay. Again, I've never seen someone say no to this stuff, right? And the third question is, well, if there were ever a good time to start saving on taxes, when would that time be? And they always say, right now. I said, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Let's get you started. You put the application form in front of them. Let's get you started saving on your taxes. Because you just had them tell you, yes, they can see how to save on taxes. Yes, they are interested in saving on taxes, and they're telling you that now is the right time to save on taxes. What else are you waiting for? Then again, you slide the application form in front of them. Say, you know what? Let's get you started. You made the right. You're absolutely correct. I always tell people, you are absolutely correct. I want them to know that they are correct. You're absolutely correct. Now is the time to start saving on taxes. And this is actually something that I learned from Jim Rohn. Either Jim Rohn or Brian Tracy, I can't really remember who I learned this from, but it was just effective closing questions. And the whole idea is you ask them, can you see how this can? Are you interested in? And if they have a good time, then when? And that's actually how I applied it to the taxes. So amazing 3 questions that are so powerful in closing the actual prospect. Okay. Well, there's more though. Again, some people, if they're not sure yet, I continue having conversations. And again, just to relate stuff to fear of loss, bring up some pain for them in a good way, I ask them, so let's say that you got back a tax savings of $5,000. How many hours would you have to work in your job to earn that $5,000? So I want people to think about, man, how many hours do I have to work, to get the same $5,000 that I just figured out in my tax savings, right? Okay. And so basically they're calculating it. But I said, but hold on. If you earned that $5,000, you have to pay taxes on the $5,000. So you really have to earn about $8,500. And then after taxes, then you take home $5,000, right? Okay. Then I re-ask the question. So the real question is, how many hours do you have to work to earn $8,500? How many hours do you have to work to earn $8,500? And I say, well, so they might give you an actual answer. They might say 2 months, 3 months. And so, but in my example, I'm saying, well, let's say you earn $20 per hour, then 8,500 divided by $20 per hour is 425 hours. Now, if they tell you, oh, it'll take me 2 months, 3 months to make that much money, then again, if it was 2 months, right, then that's about 9 weeks, right? Because some months have 4 weeks, some months have 5 weeks. So 2 months would be about 9 weeks on average. 9 weeks times 40 hours per week. So again, 9 times 40 hours per week is 360 hours. So it's still a lot of hours, right? Okay, so follow along here. So again, I asked them the first question, if you got back, to make $5,000 in your job, how many hours do you have to work? And then you say, well, hold on, you have to pay tax on the 5,000. So really you have to make 8,500. So how many hours do you have to work to make $8,500? And they say the answer. Now you've calculated. The whole point is to calculate how many hours they have to work to make that 8,500, right? Okay. Then you say, well, question number 1, do you want to work an extra 425 hours a year? Like, do you actually want to work that many more hours? And most people say no. Okay. And even in the weird cases, someone says, yeah, I want to work 380 more hours in a year. I don't know who would say that, but if they do say yes, you could say, well, does your job, which is usually just over break, does your job even offer you a chance to work that many extra hours, even if you wanted to? So reality is most jobs will not pay you on that many extra hours. And they don't even have those extra hours for you to work, right? So in any case, I asked those 2 questions, and I finished by saying, well, look here, in our strategy, just by you spending 2 hours per month tracking your expenses, 12 months times 2 hours per month is 24 hours. Do you want to work 24 hours or 425 hours to get the same $5,000 back? And now they might really understand. I mean, most people get it right after you do the tax sheet. But for the people who don't really get it, I like to keep doing these different closing conversations, right? And this one really, some people, they have to have that point of reference. And the one thing that our CEO taught me really well, Mr. Rami Masgarlu, he always taught me that when you talk to people who don't get something, always give them a point of reference, because once people can relate something to something else, they have that point of reference, it becomes more powerful for them. And once someone realizes that it's either 24 hours to make 5,000 or it's 425 hours to make 5,000, which one would you pick? The 24 hours. You've made the right decision. Let's get you started. And boom, you put the form in front of them, get them to fill it out. That's as simple as it can be. Okay. Moving on here. Now, for those people sometimes who really, really, really don't get it, here's one of the very few last things I do in my closing conversation. It's a technique called the Benjamin Franklin close, where you kind of compare the good and bad, the pro and the con, option one, option two. Okay. So again, what I might say to them, I'll say, look, you really have two decisions here. Decision one is you don't launch your email. You keep paying taxes. So the refund that you just calculated, guess what? You don't get it back. You keep paying those taxes to the government. Okay. You're on the 50-50 plan, which means you work 50 hours a week for 50 years. Because I don't really believe there's many jobs anymore that you only work 40 hours a week. Because if you even include the time to transit to get to work and how much time you have to eat, because you are out where you had to eat, and the transit back and forth, usually you realize it's not really 40-40, it's more like 50-50. In fact, nowadays, I don't think you can get by just working 50 hours, so for 50 years. I think a lot of people, again, if you look carefully at the current average pension payout by the CPP, is about $600 per month. So most people, again, that $600 per month does not even cover the property tax and home insurance, right? Most people are used to living upon $2,000, $3,000 per month. And so my point is, most people upon retirement, they still don't have enough money to retire, so they're still working. So really 50-50 is already a good thing if you're lucky, right? So again, you don't launch your email, you keep paying taxes, you're in the 50-50 plan. So you work for 50 hours a week for 50 years, and well, life doesn't change. Actually, someone mentioned to me on a call the other day, I actually forgot to update this. It's not that your life doesn't change. In reality, your life actually changes in a bad way. Okay, so think about this, right? Your life will actually change, in a very bad way, right? So, because let me ask you, right? If you weren't able to have enough money to retire, what could happen? Well, number one, inflation goes up, right? Your income is either flat or going down, right? Now we have fear and panic, right? You're now worried about your retirement. So again, just to go back into my PowerPoint here, just kind of really quickly update it for you guys. So life changes in a bad way. So inflation goes up, your income is either flat or going down. Now you have fear and panic. Okay, that's your first decision. The second decision is you launch your email. Instead of paying taxes, you get back your tax savings of like $9,500 or whatever was the amount you helped them calculate in their tax sheet, right? So again, in this tax sheet, whatever you help them figure out, which is 9,500 here, you tell them, again, by the way, when I'm doing this with someone, I'm writing it down. I'm not just saying it, face to face. I have a piece of paper or something. I'm writing down exactly what I'm showing you on the screen. Decision one, you don't launch your mall. You keep paying taxes, 50-50 plan, 50 hours with 50 years, and inflation, income, fear, panic. Decision two, you launch your email. You get your tax savings of like $9,500, and you write down the amount they got back. Okay, so if they got back $9,500, what you want to do here you actually want to put the actual amount that they got back, because I hope that makes sense to people. All right, so make it very, very relate to them. So you want to write down exactly what they got back here, in this case $9,500. But also with the diamond package of $3,599, you get $2,100 of products free at your members' pricing. That's worth about $3,500 of products for free. But you also get a 7-day getaway free. Because again, if you invested $3,500 and got back $9,500, that just meant you got $2,100 of free products. Your business was for free. You get a 7-day getaway for free. And you're now on the 550 plan, which is you work for 5 years, part-time consistently, can take off the next 50 years. You've built up your retirement income, and now you can live your dreams. So, Mr. Prospect, which one will it be? What's your decision? One or two? Number two, great. You made, that's the right decision. I agree with you. Let's get you started on getting your tax savings of $9,500. Let's get you your email. Let's get you your free $2,100 of wholesale products. Let's get you your 7-day getaway for free and help you get to your retirement income. And that, my friends, is how you can close a conversation where it's like, it's very visual. You have, again, the two decisions, option one, option two, A or B. You ask a person, which one will it be? And so some people, again, when they see the strategy in this format, it just somehow they understand it. It's like it's side by side, right? So it's kind of like when you're buying a car and you want to decide between the sports version or the regular version. They always give that side by side breakdown of what's extra in the sports model. Or when you're buying the new iPhone 7 coming out soon, they're going to break down for you, the iPhone 7 Plus versus the iPhone 6 Plus, right? They break it down side by side, right? The same concept here, okay? We better hurry up here because it's almost 10:07 here. So in terms of retention, we're almost done here, folks. Now, how can we relate the tax savings to your retention? Well, here we go. Again, some people who get started, they come back a few weeks, a few months later, and they have second thoughts. And how do you handle this, right? Let me teach you the world's most simplest way to handle people who tell you, I'm not making any money, or I'm not having, anything retarded like that. Here's the best way on how you handle that objection. You tell them, are you insane? If you stop now, you won't be getting your tax savings. Are you nuts? Are you insane? Like, dude, don't forget, right? Just by doing this, do you remember that tax refund we calculated with you before? Well, guess what? If you stop now, you're not gonna get back your. Like, why would you? Are you nuts? Like, like what happened? And they're gonna explain to you what happened. Again, whatever they say, what? It still doesn't make sense. Like logically, that makes no logical sense. So what I'm saying to you is the reality is people wanted to be in this business for at least 2 to 3 years. Why? Because in fact, in year 2, because you're not paying the $3,599 again to get into the business, the renewal fee is only $194, which, by the way, folks, don't forget there's IA rebate now, right? So you get back the same money for products of $194. Anyways, the renewal fee is $194. So your second year tax refund is even more than the first year. What do I mean by that? Really quickly. So again, in this example here, this person invested $3,599, got back $9,005. So again, they got back $9,531.90, and they invested $3,599, right? So again, my math here, I'm trying to show you the net difference. So their tax refund was $9,531.90. I'm subtracting the business cost of $3,599. That amount is equals, I'm just going to do this. Okay, I know why. Okay, 3,5. Okay, for some reason, I'm having a brain seizure here. Usually this works here. Okay, so that worked. So I'll do 9,531 minus 3,600. Okay, must be the cell. So anyhow, this 5,931 shows what is a net profit, okay? The net profit they got back by having this business, right? Let me now change the 3,599 to 194, okay? Now the total yearly expenses is 23,829. I'm going to change this to 23,829. And now my tax savings is a bit less because I'm not writing out that bigger package. Okay, so really now the 8,340 minus the 194, look at that. Your second year refund is even more than your first year because you're not running off the 3,599 package. You're only running off the 194. It costed you less the second year to be in this business, right? Again, you don't have the 7-day getaway. So again, they want to be diamond still because again it has free product, it has a 7-day getaway all for free. But again, year two, my point is that I'm showing the person why you want to be in this business for at least 2 to 3 years. And that is how we create an amazingly high retention because we show people in a logical point of view, it makes no sense to stop because you're not going to be getting back a bigger refund on year two. Okay. And again, just some Q&A that I always get from people. I did a call with one of our amazing leaders, Ambassador Sherry Zhao, and she asked me these questions. So I thought I just posted here for all of you to understand more about it. If someone asks you, well, what if I already have a business? What I say is most other businesses may not be home-based. So your home expenses and office expenses would not be a tax write-off, okay? But also, most other businesses may be a local business, so their travels around the world would not be a tax write-off. So if you were to go and travel to Mexico or Hawaii, in other businesses, it doesn't make sense to go there, so you couldn't write off your flight and hotel and taxis. Whereas with us, we can go to any country and build our business, right? So another common question is, can't I do this strategy with other businesses? And what I say to people is, well, GWT's products are pre-approved in every country around the world. That means you could expand your business anywhere in the world. That means anywhere you travel to in the world, like for business, your flight, again, hotel taxes are 100% tax deductible because other businesses may not be a global business. This is why of all the companies that I've seen in network marketing, GWT provides the most effective business in relation to maximizing your tax write-offs because GWT is the one and only true global business opportunity that exists today. Other companies have restrictions, regulations, FDA requirements, local governments to intervene to see your financial plan stuff, requires a lot of local providers. We don't. We just ship products from Canada to anywhere in the world, just like eBay or Amazon, right? So, and that, my friends, concludes my tax training for today. And I guess we do have a lot of questions that came in. So before I turn it back to, our amazing host, Sean Singh, let me just really quickly answer the questions here. So Sam says, where can we find the worksheet, the tax benefits? Again, the worksheet was on my website, which is, again, OURGWT.com. Under the Tax Savings Strategy link on the left-hand banner, the very bottom, the tax benefits fill in the blank sheet. Okay, there we go. Again, so the one quick question about what if someone were to answer no, they would not pick up the money. Again, I would say, are you nuts? But again, I just taught you many other ways, Nwando, to close that conversation, if not using that one. Okay, so Jillian asks, can you explain how this can work for retired people? Great question. So Jillian, that's a great thing I forgot to add to my PowerPoint, which is this. The reality, even for retired people, and my mom, for example, had worked for CIBC for 30 years. So she has the bank pension, she has the government pension, she has the OAS, the old age security, she has the GIS, the guaranteed income supplement, right? And the reality is that even for retired people, they pay taxes on their income. Yes, you pay taxes on your CPP income, on your bank pension, on all the income you get in Canada, you have to pay taxes on it. So even for retired people, it still works, to come in to launch your business. And again, for a lot of retired people, Jillian, you'll find that if you ask them, are you really comfortable? Are you really able to do the things you really want to do in your retirement? And would you be open to seeing a vehicle that might be able to add more income on a monthly basis to what you're doing? again, you want to also have them see the bigger picture of actually having the business. And again, call to action. So if you found out a way, Mr. Retired person, on how to get back 3,000 in your taxes, wouldn't you be doing a favor by sharing this with your friends who are also retired? Like, why won't you share it with your coffee buddies at the mall, right? So again, you can work as well with for retired people. Again, this training is actually being recorded, so we don't have. I can't send you the PowerPoint, but again, we do have this training recorded, and again, we can actually send. Just really look out for the recorded training once we're done. So, again, this the comment came in again about someone who said that this strategy is good for people who are in salary, but for the people who work for themselves as a self-business person already with no salary. So again, if someone was self-employed business person and had no salary, again, my last few points I told you was that other businesses might not be global. Other businesses, again, might not be home-based. But even if they were, Sam, for people who are already in business, they usually understand business. And if you can share with them how, for example, let's say, Sam, you were the person that was this business person, you had your own tax write-offs. I would ask you, well, Sam, so you can see how this can save people on taxes, right? You say, yes. Well, wouldn't you be doing a favor, Sam, by sharing this strategy with other people that you know? Because you might be a business person, which is fantastic, but I'm sure most of your friends, they probably have jobs, right? Wouldn't you be doing them a favor by sharing this with those people? So even people that have a business who have no need for tax savings, I still put a call to action for them. So I would say to them, it's fantastic you have a business and that you have all the benefits we just share with you, but are you able to share these strategies with other people for your business? And usually it's not. Like, other businesses usually have a lot of setup, registration, name lookup, inventory, lots of stuff, right? In our business, you just get started, you join online, and boom, instantly you get tax savings. So I would put a call to action for those people that already have a business. You know what? You must know a lot of people out there who just have jobs. And imagine how many people you can help. It would be so sad if you didn't share this with all those other people. As a businessman, you know what? If you just share this with other people, you can start to build yourself a really lifelong extra revenue stream coming in. So my point here, Sam, is it doesn't matter whether they don't have a business or have a business for these benefits. There's still a way to close that person. Okay, so I think that's a lot of the questions that just came in. One question was, do you need to have a GAC number? The answer is no, because we are not the ones, like, when someone buys from the website, the company is the one that sends the products to your client, right? We are commission based, just like a realtor, right? As a realtor, your brokerage is the one that actually sells the actual house. You get a commission, so you don't need to have a GC number. Okay, so I guess I'm going to turn the call back to our amazing host for tonight. We do have just some nice comments coming in, so I appreciate all of your comments. For all of you guys who are just sending in your thank yous, I really appreciate that. And so Sean Singh, the call is back to you. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Thank you very much. Oh, absolute pleasure, my friend, and it was a pleasure to be on the call here with you. And right towards the end there, I was thinking, the visionary himself, our CEO, says that you give enough people what they want, you'll get what you want. In this case, it's the absolute truth here. You're giving people more money and more free time, which is exactly what they want to get it in return for yourself. Well, folks, at that point, we'll just go over through some quick announcements here. As you know, here in North America, it is a long weekend. So the world headquarters will be closed Monday, September 5th. So just keep that in note there. We just had some massive events top off in Italy as well. I'm sure you guys saw social media was ablaze with everything that was happening there. We do have another event coming up in the Caribbean in the month of October. So make sure you folks, anywhere around the Caribbean, around North America, or from wherever, you have the CEO and, of course, the VP down there. So definitely get your tickets for that. And, of course, selling out very quickly at this point here, we have our North American conference which basically the early bird will end Monday, September 12th. Of course, now if you do see in your emails, the last email blast from GWT, you'll see the hotel code there as well. So tickets are still $49 right now. Make sure you get the tickets and book early enough so you can save and get your hotel room at the same time. And of course, folks, don't forget the 7-day Diamond Getaway. Basically, get yourself upgraded to Diamond is here for existing members as well until September 17th. So make sure you guys are smiling and dialing. And what better way than, sharing, folks, the tax advantages that whether you're upgrading from retailer to Diamond or Gold to Diamond, you know what? The entire cost is 100% tax deductible. So share that, folks. And of course, again, big thank you to Rene. For the folks that are part of the CDSC, we have a very special webinar taking place tomorrow night. With that, folks, stay tuned with all the different events coming up here, and wherever you are in the world, have yourself a great morning, great afternoon, great night, wherever you are. This is Ambassador Shan Singh signing off. Good day, folks.
Oh, and Sean, thank you so much. And just a quick last note here that I will be doing, even though it is a long weekend, I will be doing the tax training tomorrow evening as well. Again, live in Markham, or again on the live stream as well, 7:30 p.m. So again, thank you everyone, folks, and have a great night. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Rene.